Welcome to the Anchor Your Retirement podcast. I am your host, and my beloved co host, even though he says he's a Twins fan, is repping the royal blue today.
Yep, look at
Hello
that.
there, Tony.
For the video watchers, they can see that
Yeah,
is the KC Royal Blue I have on.
it is, but that's a record on your shirt,
Yeah, that's
isn't
a
it?
record on my shirt, not a baseball. That's so I can reach down and do some record scratching during the show.
Okay,
Uh,
that's just weird,
yeah,
especially for the
I
people who
don't have
can't
that
see the
sound effect.
video.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that right now. I really am.
Okay. All right.
Can we
Yeah.
tell it's a Friday?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Well, I am wearing Royals colors today. I didn't even think of that. Of course, you immediately said,
I
"Oh, you're supporting
did.
my team." I
I
love that.
did. Well, they are on such a winning streak right
They
now.
are. They're doing great.
It's exciting. I hope that we do okay against Boston this weekend. Yes, we record this show about a week in advance. Yes, we're going to talk about moms and money today, and it's going to come out after Mother's Day. But you know what? In a weird way, every day should be Mother's Day,
It
Tony.
should be. It should be. I love when you said the name of the show, Moms and Money. I'm glad we're talking about moms. Mother's Day shouldn't be just a day. It's Mother's Month. It's Mom's Month, right?
It it is crazy. My mom got her Mother's Day gift from me today. So, because
Nice.
I don't like to make people work on Sundays if I can
Right.
avoid it, and especially on a day when they should be with their family, not taking care of mine because 'cause I'm
Yeah.
200 miles away.
Yeah. When we record, that's nice. And when we record this, we're 2 days out from Mother's Day, but we're
We are.
celebrating tonight. I'm grilling, and all the kids are coming over. And my wife's only request for Mother's Day is that we all sit at the table and play games like Triamanos, this
Oh,
3-sided.
that's so
So
fun.
we're gonna play that. She loves that, and it's hard to get all the kids together and get them to play the game. But on for Mother's Day, they'll do it. They'll sit there and play the game, and we'll have fun.
I think that's great. I
Yep.
think that's great. My daughter is actually cooking lunch for me. My older daughter
Nice.
is cooking lunch for me on Sunday
Yeah, we're
because I
cooking
also
for her tonight.
yeah, I don't like doing the restaurant thing on Mother's Day
No.
because everybody else is there, and it's like, "Come on, everybody behave. You're supposed to be having a good time." Doesn't work.
In a crowded restaurant too,
It's
it's better.
loud, you have overstimulated little
Mhm.
ones, you have moms that are like, "Oh, for the love, could we have done this on a Tuesday?" I mean, realistically, I appreciate the gesture, and I know that Mother's Day is, like, one of the biggest days for flowers, cards, even those fruit arrangements that are dipped in chocolate, but I would just rather it be my family and me. And
Yep.
not having to deal with everybody else saying, "Come on, you're supposed to be having a good time for your mother. Show your mother your appreciation." No, it doesn't work that way.
No, you're
So,
right.
let's just be pragmatic about it, people. Let's get
Agreed.
past the commercialism of all of this and just honor mom. So, but moms do a lot. Would you agree with
Oh,
that?
I would agree 110%.
And a lot of times, moms, when you have a married couple in a household,
Mm.
do you know what percentage of the ones who handle the day-to-day finances are men versus women?
As far as day-to-day finances,
Day-to-day.
I think it's pretty high. I think that women handle it,
Yeah, it's
especially these days.
between 70 and 80% of women handle.
Yep. Yep.
And of course, if you're in a single parent household and you're the mom, it's 100% of you handling it, we hope. But that adds another layer of responsibility
It
on
does.
top of a very full schedule already.
True.
And, it takes a lot to balance the budget and figure out how I know I use the B word. I try not to use that word
The
on this
budget.
podcast. But, making sure that we've got enough for groceries, and heaven knows that's a full-time job right now
Mhm.
in and of itself.
Yep.
Along with, "Oh, the car needs to be fixed, and this kid has this summer camp that they're going to. This kid has that summer camp, and the pool membership, and all the things to keep them occupied over the summer." all the things to plan for with school, making sure that the utilities are paid. That day-to-day management thing can really be a full-time job, and it can be overwhelming when you're trying to take care of kids too. It really can be.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, I can't believe mothers always impress me, and
Mhm,
I think that they probably don't, even though we give them attention, especially on this day,
mhm.
they don't get enough credit. I mean,
They
that you
don't.
can't give a mother enough credit because of all the things, the caring, the things that they do, and we all know us guys get off easy.
Mhm.
Or or just take it easy and
Ah,
leave it up to the moms. But you're right. Finances on top of that, most moms end up taking care of day to day finances as well,
yeah,
and that's just an added level of burden. But there are things that they can do. I know there are things
there
you
are.
do, like women in wealth
Yep,
gatherings
we
and
had a
seminars.
smart and savvy gathering last night for those newer to figuring out financial independence or
Sure,
that path to financial savviness and intelligence kind of thing. In June on the 25th, we are doing a Wine Women in Wealth event out at Serendipity Farm and Vine, which is a vineyard on the south side of town out here.
nice.
Um, and we are really looking forward to that event. But I have a few tidbits of advice for mom and things that I want her to take under advisement. And even though this is a day we are honoring moms, especially for you moms that aren't working outside the home right now, these are a few things I want you to do financially to help make sure that you are taking care of yourself. We could have called this financial self care as much as we're calling it moms and money.
That's true. Yeah, yeah, there you go. Well, but there are things that people can do to get
Mhm,
on board, and whereas the women do handle the day-to-day more often,
mhm,
some of them don't have the experience with long-term investing, maybe either because the guy took care of that or just the majority of our listeners out there probably don't have a
mhm.
ton of experience with it, so
Right. But if you are a stay at home mom and you're not working outside the home, there are a few things I want you to do. Okay. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to make sure that you have a bank account with just your name on it. Okay.
yep,
I'm not saying you're keeping secrets from your partner or your spouse, but I want you to have a bank account that just has your name on it in case something happens to your spouse or partner so that you have some cash you can access in case a bank decides to freeze an account or there is some sort of challenge when somebody passes away.
sure. That makes sense.
Okay. Because unfortunately, we're all one car accident away from life looking very, very different than how it looks right now.
Yeah, yep,
The next thing I want you to do is I want you to have one credit card in your name only. I want you to keep up a credit history that is yours so that in the event that your husband passes away, in the event that your marriage ends, in the event that something unexpected happens, if you're trying to get an apartment, get a car loan, get a loan for anything, you have a credit history that they can review instead of not having any individual credit history or having an individual credit history that's 7 or 10 years ago before you got married.
right.
Okay. So these are very easy to do things.
Yes.
And again, I am not telling you to keep secrets from your spouse. I am not telling you to do this behind your back. Realistically, your spouse should have the same.
Yes. Yes, and that's just to protect yourself in case something happens to the
Hmm.
spouse, and that makes perfect sense. Now, you mentioned something like if you have been a stay-at-home mom and haven't been
Hmm.
working full time, you also probably want to make sure you have your own retirement account. Maybe get an IRA set up and are donating to that. If you don't, if you're not contributing to regularly to a retirement account like a 401k, right?
Right, because most people don't realize that there is a spousal IRA provision in the tax code. So if you are a stay-at-home parent and your spouse has earned income, you can still set aside money in an IRA or a Roth IRA if the income limits apply
Yep.
every year.
Yeah, and you should, right?
Because what's the eighth wonder of the world, Tony? We've talked about this before.
Compounding interest.
Right.
Or
And the
pizza. Sometimes I would answer pizza is the eighth wonder of the world, but compounding interest is good as
only
well.
from Naples or if you get the flour from Italy, would I
Oh,
say
there you
this.
go. Yes, that's true. That's the good stuff.
I'm Italian, I'm a pizza snob, I admit it.
Yeah.
Um
I've never met a pizza I didn't love. So,
but going back to the whole spousal IRA, it
yes.
is, it it's $7,000, $7,500 a year, something
Mhm.
like that. Even that set aside for those first 4 or 5 years while you're home with the kiddos. I know it's a stretch. I know it's a stretch for some people, but that gives you a footing and a nest egg so that when you get ready to retire or when you are re-entering the workforce, you're not playing the same level of catch up as other people are.
Right.
I've told this story multiple times. When my oldest daughter got a job, the next thing I made her do was open up a Roth IRA.
Yep. My daughter
So,
has a Roth IRA as well.
mhm, mhm. And your daughter's still in college, right? Or just
Yep.
graduating?
She's in college. She graduates this month, actually.
I thought so. I
Yep.
thought so. But, these are things that you can do. I mean, this is a little bit of putting on your own oxygen mask before you take care of everybody else.
Yeah. Pay
As
yourself first, I've always heard.
Right, right. And as moms, we tend to take care of everybody else,
Yep.
sometimes to our own detriment.
Yeah. Many times to your own detriment. Moms will do
So,
that. Yep.
yeah. So, like I said, this is financial self care 101.
Yep.
Setting this up for yourself will give you a little bit of peace of mind. And
Yeah.
it gives you a cushion if something ever happens.
Yeah. Yeah, and you need that financial independence. I know it's hard without, I brought up the IRA thing, and I get it. Without
Mhm,
earned income, sometimes not possible. But if you have a spouse that has earned income, you can put money away in your name, and you
mhm.
guys can work that out and split it up that way. Or if you get a chunk of change from somewhere, you can put it in an IRA, right?
And I don't think that we as advisors talk about that enough.
Yeah, if at all. Many advisors they don't talk about this. Yeah,
Right. And a lot of times it's because people don't come to see an advisor when they're young. They're
yeah,
not thinking about it. It's not
sure.
on
It's 5
it's
years before retirement or a year before retirement,
right,
or
right.
worse, like a few months before
Or
retirement.
yeah,
"Hey,
or
we should
yeah,
talk to Barb now."
yeah, or we've thrown all this money in all of these accounts and we don't know how to deal with it now that we're retiring. When you can start that plan young
Yeah,
and work on it through the years,
yeah.
number 1, you might be able to retire younger
Oh,
than a
the
lot of your
earlier you start, the better. If I had been
right.
putting money away like my daughter is into a Roth when I was 21 years old,
Mhm.
I mean, I would be
It would be a
sitting pretty
different
today.
situation, yeah.
Yeah,
So, these are things that we don't talk about, like I said, as advisors, and these are things that as moms, you're not thinking about this. You're thinking about balancing the checkbook. You're thinking about the calendar for who is doing school pickup, who is running which errands, who's taking this kid to this event, and who do we need to call, what do we need to plan for, all of those things. So as moms, I'm asking you to take some time, carve out a couple of hours, and take a look at some of this for yourself.
Mhm.
And while you are looking at it, if you were in the workforce before and have come out of the workforce, or if you have worked for more than one company, it's time to consolidate your retirement accounts from those other companies. Either, my preference is that you put them into a self directed IRA because that gives you more control. Some people prefer to roll them into their current employer's plan so that they've only got one thing to look at. There's pros and cons to both because, yes, you've got them all consolidated in one space, but you're also limiting your investment options. Even if you're sitting there telling me I'm saving on fees by doing this, I am going to tell you what I tell everybody when they're like, but the fees. And I'm like, yes. And you get what you pay for in life.
Yeah, you really do. That
Yes.
is true.
The pair of shoes that costs you $5 probably isn't going to last quite as long as the pair that costs you 50.
Yep. True, and that's just the way it works, and
Mhm.
so it is so important. You've covered a lot. Moms and money. I
Mhm.
love this topic. Some great advice for moms out
Right.
there
And
to help
and one
them.
more bonus tip.
Okay.
Life insurance. Please, please. Don't only make sure that you have insurance on your spouse and if you're in a partner situation, and don't just rely on the group life insurance that employer offers. Even if you don't think you can afford it, get a term insurance policy for yourself and for your spouse. I mean, we just insured a young couple, and the wife is getting either 250, I think she's getting 250 or $500,000 in coverage. And the cost per month is less than it costs to go through a drive-through and
That's
grab dinner.
crazy. Yeah.
But if something happens to her, he then has the money to pay for the additional childcare, for the to be able to take some time off of work if she were to pass away, for the other things that will come up. And if especially if you are not in the workforce right now, your spouse needs to have enough life insurance in place that you could continue to maintain that lifestyle until your last kid is out of high school, if that's been the plan that you had.
Hmm.
And if you don't have an idea of how to make that work or how to plan for it, you need to reach out to us. Call our offices at area code 913-553-6222. I think I might have stolen your thunder there, Tony, and done that
No,
for you.
no, I appreciate that.
Or go to our website at bgwealthmanagement.com and go to the contact us page and reach out. Unfortunately, I have friends who are younger than I am that became widows.
Hmm.
But fortunately, because they had planned and because they had life insurance in place and because they were wise with their finances, she didn't have to sell the house. In fact, she got to pay the house off. She didn't have to tell the kids that they weren't going to be able to go to college
Hmm.
because they had planned. It's tragic that their father isn't there anymore.
Yeah,
But there were a lot of other things in their life that were able to stay constant because their parents had planned.
that's good. That's really good.
Yes.
Well, an important topic, and we want to just say we love all the moms out there and
We
appreciate what
do,
they
and we
do.
see you and we appreciate what you've done.
Yeah, I think it's great and a good topic for a show. I'm sure some of our listeners will have questions. So again, leave that number one more time for our listeners.
Sure, it's area code 913-553-6222.
All right. Thanks, Barb. And listeners and viewers, thanks for tuning in. That does it for today's episode of Anchor Your Retirement with our host, Barb Gullen.
We'll see you soon.